Thank you so much for joining our event today. We're really pleased to have you with us for the next hour. My name is Sarah Gerard, and I have my colleague Paul Cartwright on the line. And today we're going to talk about hotel finance in the cloud. So let's go ahead and get started. So in the hospitality industry, I think we tend to often think about the property management system or the guest management system to kind of be the epicenter of the hotel or resort's operations. Now, we're not here to argue that, but I don't think you should lessen the importance of the finance system, and especially a finance system in the cloud. So today we're going to show you exactly that. We're going to show you a finance system that actually lives in the cloud and has been customized to work within the hospitality industry. We're going to go through some of the benefits of cloud deployments, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to introduce this finance system to you and the basic usability in it. And then we're going to move into some of the functions that are actually specific to what we do in the hospitality industry. So first off, let's talk about some general benefits of cloud-based deployments. I know everybody kind of has an understanding of what cloud-based is, but to me, what it really boils down to are three different things: cost savings, security, and reliability. So in terms of cost savings, there are tons of statistics out there about how moving certain applications to the cloud can save you lots of money. But in plain and simple terms, moving heavy applications to the cloud allows you to very effectively reduce your IT costs. And for small and medium-sized businesses like hotels and resorts, this is a huge benefit because it allows you to focus, of course, on your operations and taking care of the guests. So when you deploy in the cloud, investments in expensive hardware become a thing of the past, as well as the costs of maintaining that hardware. So hosting platforms such as Microsoft Azure and Amazon make it really simple to spin up new servers and increase disk size. It's much, much easier than kind of speccing out hardware, installing it, maintaining it, not to mention all the costs of maintaining an on-site data center or server room. But it's not only the hardware investment that decreases, it's also that upfront capital investment in software as well. So a cloud-based finance solution can facilitate an upgrade from a legacy finance system that maybe you've outgrown to a newer, more powerful solution. And the upfront investment can be low because there are subscription-based pricing models out there available for systems such as this. So it's kind of a pay-as-you-go, similar to like utilities. And, so gone are the days of really having to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into new technology solutions. And speaking of utilities, I think something that we don't necessarily think about is that by moving systems and hardware to the cloud, it actually reduces energy consumption by anywhere from 15 to 30% as well. So that's another nice little cost savings that you get. But what about security? So there companies like Microsoft and Amazon have made major investments in cloud security and designed their solutions with security as a top priority. So some of the technologies that they use are encryption protocols that secure data as it's being transported out and over the internet. And they also use other technologies such as identity and access management to help ensure that only the right people have the access that they need to your applications. As far as reliability goes, I know this is, of course, very important when we're talking about software and hardware that's not there on site. Again, companies such as Microsoft and Amazon will also have guarantees of certain level of uptime, and they back it up through service level agreements. So we're talking about 99.9-ish% uptime if you kind of follow their deployment framework. One other thing to note is that cloud deployments are backed up and protected, which means that you don't have to do that on site anymore. So no more tape backups and figuring out a place to put them like we did years ago, right? So briefly, those are some of the benefits of the cloud, but what exactly are we talking about here, and what is the actual solution that we want to introduce to you today? And that is a solution called Microsoft Dynamics NAV, or NAV. So we've all heard of Microsoft Dynamics CRM or Great Plains, maybe SL or Solomon or AX. NAV is in that ERP Dynamics family, ERP being Enterprise Resource Planning. It was built specifically for small to medium-sized businesses about 20 years ago. It's used by about 117,000 companies worldwide to manage every facet of their operations, and over 8,000 companies migrate their businesses to NAV each year. So you can kind of see by this graph just how many licenses of Microsoft Dynamics products exist out there, and you can see that NAV actually has the lion's share. So it's an extremely powerful solution that provides full functionality for finance, accounting, CRM, supply chain management. And Paul, if you want to go to the next slide, you can kind of see all of the different pieces that that are included within the ERP system: purchasing, warehousing, manufacturing, project management, you name it. So it's a very, very powerful solution, and tying this all back to the cloud, NAV was actually the first ERP system in the Dynamics family with the capability of being deployed in the Microsoft Azure cloud environment. And it's natively integrated with Office 365, which is pretty great as well. All right, so without further ado, we'd like to take a few minutes to kind of introduce you to the product, to NAV itself, so you can kind of get an understanding of the system and some of the tools that it provides. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to my colleague Paul. He's going to take us through NAV a little bit on the general usability side and all the different ways that you can access it, because there are a lot of different ways. So Paul, thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. I'm just going to flick across. So as Sarah just said, things we're going to cover in this session, we're going to cover several various areas. And the first thing I wanted to do was introduce you to the Microsoft Dynamics NAV platform and the solution itself from a technology point of view, to see what it is as a piece of software, how you interact with it, some of its key features to make it extra usable and easy for people to get around in. And then we're going to look at some of the clients that are available, how you can get into this piece of software. So it's not just a thing, it's gone are the days of your finance system being something that you have to sit at a computer for. Now we can access these things through tablet, phone, and other sort of connections like that. So we're going to have a quick look at those things, and then we'll move on to some more functionality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop straight into my web browser here. So what you're looking at the moment is Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2016. It's the latest release of the NAV platform from Microsoft, which is updated pretty much every year. So every year Microsoft updates their platform to bring out a new release. And this is... I
think we're still seeing the PowerPoint. There we go. That's better.
Okay, so now you should be looking at the Dynamics NAV home screen. So the key screen in NAV is this role center. NAV is referred to as a role-tailored client. The important point there is it's a client which is defined by roles in the business. So depending on what your role, what you do in the business, you'll get a different interface, a different look, a different set of options, and totally different views of the data to another person maybe sitting next to you that does a different part of your operations. So the key screen here is this role center, and as you can see, it's made up of several parts. It's separated into these chunks that we call panels, and panels traditionally and typically will contain these things called tiles. You can see here I've got various tiles around things like the tasks that are outstanding for me, requisition requests, some statistics here which we'll look at later, and as I scroll down we'll see more